Alright, cool. We're outside Pornography pop-up, 2104 Dundas Street West, Toronto, Canada. I'm here with,
Tristn Cole,
and you're the owner of the brand.
A to pick.
Alright, so we'll start off with like some basic questions. Where are you from?
I'm from Toronto, Canada. I actually grew up like not too far from here, kind of energy.
And where are you at now?
I'm in Montreal, Outremont area, big city things.
And when did you start designing clothes?
I started designing clothes probably when I think I was in like grade 10 or so, and then I kind of got like a sewing machine in grade 12. I actually started by like customizing hats, like back in the day. Like it used to be really sick to like switch the brims of your hats and shit, and like make it really like floral pattern and like like just some crazy shit. So I started off with that, and then I kind of got super into it. Just started sewing and shit. And from there, I just got a sewing machine. Been sewing probably like 10 years now, and then yeah.
So has Atypic been the brand for 10 years, or you had multiple on the way?
It's always kind of been the main sort of idea. Like it actually started off like not at all related to fashion or anything. It was really just like something that could like pertain to anything. And basically with that, I kind of just pushed it in a way where I knew that it was gonna, like the name Atypic, it comes from the word atypical, which means it doesn't derive of anything. So I came up with the name initially, like I think in grade 12 for some like random ass project that I had to do, and I just put it back burner because I couldn't use it for the project, and it just stuck in my mind because I was like, yo, this name is kind of cool. Like I realized like fashion shit was like kind of becoming more foreground in the like I guess like the social eye, and like people were paying more attention to it. So I realized like, okay, like this could kind of turn into a fashion brand, and then from there I kind of turned into what it is today.
That's fire. So for the people who don't know, we're both wearing Atypic right now. They're all hand sewn by you, right?
Yes.
So can you run can you run down the process of like when someone orders your hoodie and how it becomes the final product?
It depends. It really depends on the actual, like, I guess a day or like the release more or less. But usually I like to pre-make everything, so I'll pre-make it to the base. So something like this, I'll pre-cut everything. I won't necessarily pre-make it because I don't have to dye anything, so there's no like extenuated process upon that. But if I had like a garment that I had to dye or I had to do something else to it, I'll pre-make it, and then it'll reach sale, so people will sell it, and then from there I'll treat it, spray paint it, cut it, and then it's honestly like a long process. Like one pair of pants probably takes like, if I were to do it from start to finish, it would take maybe a day and a half, just due to like washing and like the amount of cuts, and like it's a lot of
a super long process.
Stuff. Unfortunately, yes, but it's definitely worth it, just because I feel like each piece is like really organic and unique in the way that it expresses itself and through art and stuff. So
100% worth it. I feel like it takes like just like a black zip-up hoodie and gives it so much texture, and like you can see someone with a regular black hoodie, it's like, that's cool. But if you walk around with like this on, you know what I mean? It's like it's way different.
A little bit extra. But I feel like that's kind of the idea behind the brand too, is just extrapolating from things that like we already see in like common day, like streetwear, common day life, especially like coming out of Canada. Like you be seeing a lot of people wearing hoodies, a lot of people wearing denims and stuff like that. So that's where I wanted to kind of start with, like, especially like the ecological pursuit, because that's where it's easiest to get like post-consumer products and then recontextualize that into something that like we could wear and actually like promote in a way that isn't just like, yo, this is like an eco-friendly thing, because I feel like a lot of times it's hard to have like a eco-sustainable brand and like build like a whole idea behind it because of the limitations that you face.
Yeah.
And so it's like this is a problem. Okay. Yes, sir.
All right, and still on the topic of Atypic, what can the people expect from you coming up?
So I actually have 3 pop-ups planned. One is a super secret collaboration with a really big company that is like on top right now. Like, bro, I'm praying that it gets. You can't speak too much about it because you don't want to jinx it. But the other 2, one is actually happening in Montreal, one is happening in Toronto. August. I'm planning really, really far ahead in the future because it's going to be a very big thing. I got a lot of big things coming in terms of pop-ups, I guess, and planning for that. But products and shit on the way. I'm gonna talk about this one right here. It's like a little necklace, my favorite piece actually. But I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's coming out soon.
Fair enough. I know outside designing clothes, you model, right?
Sorta, yeah. Honestly, I don't model too much nowadays just because of like COVID and shit. Like I'm not that I'm like against the vaccinations or any of that, but I'm just like, I don't know too much about like mRNA or whatever it's called, vaccines, and so I'm realizing like it may not be the best thing to do right now, so I kind of want to just stay away from it as much as I can until I'm kind of in a position that I like need to do that. But up until now, it's like modeling has usually happened out in Europe. So at the current state, it's like I ain't trying to get that vaccination, and I ain't necessarily trying to fly nowhere. So
fair enough.
That's how that should be going.
Do you have any like? I know you did a couple runways before, right?
I've done, honestly, like, I got really lucky with it because I feel like even at the beginning of my introduction to it, like, not a lot of people had dreads at the time, so it was really easy for me to kind of, like, get seen beyond, like, what the normal demographic was. Like, even at the time, there weren't a lot of, like, light-skinned models or people of color being chosen for certain things, and if they were, it was more so, like, I need to fill that token role, so it's nice to see things actually come up and, like, shift in a lot more open sort of, like, view on society and how people actually like want their clothes to be like sold to them and marketed, I guess. So
have like a more wide variety of people on the mainstream media.
100%. I feel like even with my brand, that's something that I'm really trying to focus on too, where it's just like there are a lot of aspects of life that aren't even necessarily spoken on, especially within fashion, where it's more seen as like this luxurious thing that's trying to hide any sort of flaw and like show all this crazy stuff. But I feel like one of the main things I realized, like just through personal reflection and like therapy and all that kind of stuff, is like to accept imperfections, and like that's something that I really wanted to hold with my brand too. So coming up, there's going to be a lot of things that are like designed to be imperfect or designed to be like unusable in a certain way, but it still adds to it. So I'm trying to design around a lot of motifs that I feel like aren't necessarily in there, and then that also plays into like the people who had to have modeling for it and try and pick like really unique casting, really unique faces, even body shapes and everything, like even sexual preferences. Like I'm very open to everything. So
in the fashion sphere, I'll ask you a couple of fashion questions. What's your favorite trend from fashion in the last couple of years?
Favorite trend from fashion in the last couple of years? So I've actually always been obsessed with like Gore-Tex. Like as a kid, I was like obsessed with this shit. Like I would go around to stores and like, so you could go to like Value Village and find like those random ass like company jackets, but
like
I would
Columbia jackets.
Yeah, like or not even that, like it would be like some random ass like fishing company from like Italy, but they had like company jackets and they were made out of Gore-Tex, and I would literally just collect those. So like up until I was probably around like 18, I was just like going crazy collecting as many like Arc'teryx jackets, North Face, like all of that kind of shit. I still have them on me, but they're all like fucking destroyed now at this point. Like they're super old. But I guess to answer your question more accurately, is more or less like I don't want to say Gorp-core for what it is, because it's like I feel like it is kind of more outdoorsy than I would say, but there's the utilitarianness of it. Like I love the purposefulness of design, and like even my friends, I gotta shout out like my homies Heli on a Meal, like those are like my brothers. They be doing like utilitarian design to like a whole nother level. So I would have to say out of the coming years, like that sort of aesthetic, like that Heli on a Meal, Gorp-core sort of vibe. But go beyond that, like I've kind of said before, but just things that are like surface level, kind of just like using eco-friendliness to like sell a product. So almost greenwashing. I said greenwashing, but I don't want to say greenwashing because it's like they could be doing it accurately. But I guess to more contextualize that better, just people kind of
I noticed a lot of brands for like Earth Day this year dropped like a 10-piece collection. I was like, for Earth Day?
Oh, that's crazy. Because it's like when you think about it, like, okay, I don't want to throw nobody under the bus or even say no names or anything, but I saw this one thing that Frank Ocean did, and like I love him to death, and I love his like image and like everything he represents, because I feel like he does like an amazing job at like being the voice of like culture. But there was something that he kind of did this Earth Day, as you literally said, that like I saw it and I was like, whoa, it just seemed kind of out of character, because it was really just like almost a money grab to an extent, where he would release like fucking 15 shirts, and it's like
it's doing the opposite.
It's
of
doing
what
the
you're
exact
trying to promote,
opposite. Yeah, exactly. And it's like the amount of carbon that went into even like making those things, and it's like happily they were all like cotton-based products, so it's like it's still natural, but like it's still something that's going to subside like our existence. Like that t-shirt's going to last longer than me, so it's like until you realize that like most times making more is not actually doing anything beneficial to the world. It's like, I don't know, it's hard. But even that's a problem that I personally find myself in too, where it's like it's challenging yourself between the conflicting ideas of like, should you be making money or should you just be making art and like using it more as like a catalyst for like creative ideas. But it's hard out here because it's like you got to make money and shit, you know. So
Yeah.
you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
So out the door for 2022, non-sustainable fabrics.
Yes.
In the north, thrift, reuse.
Be consciousness, please. Like we're too. I feel like we're too involved in like social bullshit to like actually do the real things that matter. And it's like one of the things that I realized too, like early on, is that it's like it isn't necessarily even on the individual. It is on the company at hand, because it's like a lot of times like the individual doesn't necessarily know all of these things. And like I said, there is greenwashing and all this kind of bullshit out here. So it's like it's hard for someone to kind of pay attention to everything. But in the same breath, if you're starting a business, if you're starting some shit, just be conscious of what it is you got to do.
So kind of going off that note, for like any young entrepreneur that's coming up making a brand, do you have any advice for them?
Honestly, I'd say study as much as you can, because like the one thing I've realized over life is that like I started with music. I started doing like producing all this other stuff the same time I was doing fashion stuff, and like at the time it's like it's the master of none, whatever, but then you realize like later on in life, as long as you were focused and paying attention to everything that you were doing, there's always ways to recontextualize that and bring that back into like the main thing that you're trying to do. So I would just say like, yo, do that shit, bro. Like don't just be out here like on your computer thinking about shit, doing research, doing whatever. Like if you have some shit and you're passionate about it, do it, no matter what it is, no matter what someone tells you. But
yeah, go spend your money, hit a manufacturer, go print a tee,
yes,
whatever
bro.
you want to do.
Don't buy my shit, make your own. Honestly.
Oh,
Honestly,
okay.
bro, seriously, go do that shit.
And for 2022, any brands you've been fucking with recently that you want to put on?
I mean, my nigga's already on, but I gotta say Pierre Bassin. I gotta say Pornography. I gotta say, you know, all the mans out here. My boy Crook out here doing some crazy glasses. Play moi, you know.
Shout out Pay Moi.
Yes, sir. But honestly, big team out here. I really just love shouting out the gang, making sure everyone knows like what the fuck we be rocking with. But there's big brands out there, but those my niggas. So.
So you're from Toronto, living in Montreal. If someone was going to Toronto, first time in Toronto, where would you recommend them? Yeah, where would you tell them to hit for a day?
I mean, it depends on really what they're doing, but.
What would you do in like a day in Toronto? All your favorite things to do?
Me personally, right now, I would probably hit up Fabric, just because, like, bro, you cannot get no fucking fabrics anywhere else in the world, like, aside from that place, bro. Like, that shit is crazy. Even Leather Supply, my little brother works there, and like I'd be pulling, like, I've never been able to get supplies like that shit, like, and like, bro, nowhere in my life. So
one on Spadana?
Yeah, Spadana and Queen, bro. Hit that shit up if you're a fashion designer. Like, that shit is key, bro. And then, yeah, honestly, I started DJing and shit now, and I just came across this really cool, like, place to get a lot of gear. So, I don't know. Usually, I'm not really, like, out and about trying to see stuff, especially in Toronto, personally, just because I'm from here, so I've seen a lot. So, if I'm here, it's on, like, motive things. Like, I'm just trying to get that work done. But
work season.
Sir,
what about flip it to Montreal? Like, what are you doing in Montreal recently?
Shit. Montreal's actually a bop. Like, we be having a lot of fun out there. Like I said, I started DJing, so a lot of it has been more focused around, like, not necessarily events, but just like getting that sort of like that sort of recognition out there, so I could start doing more parties and hosting more stuff. Because I personally, I don't like going to parties. I don't like doing all that stuff. I'm like really like to myself. Like, honestly, I've probably been to like maybe 4 parties in the past like 12 months. Or like
Montreal's kind of lock off in the winter, you know?
Yeah, well, like, yes and no, because it's like, yo, I feel like the winter pushes people to kind of like want to do more almost. Like, if you have like a really fire motive, like, there's some crazy shit going on in Montreal for sure. Like, moonshine and like, bro, there's so much shit that goes on in Montreal.
All the clubs, Suwu, apartment.
100. But that's the problem, bro. I'm not a demon anymore, but like at the time, bro, it's like if I get caught up in that shit, it's hard to like not entertain yourself, take those breaks. So that's why I'm like really trying to focus on like just a vision and not even let no things come aside. That's honestly why I started DJing, because I was like, okay, like if I'm gonna be at a party, like I need to be productive in some sort of sense. So I was like, okay, fuck it, like I'm gonna just start DJing, and then one thing that
have a reason to be at the party rather than just like socialize.
Literally. Honestly, like today I have a set at like 10:30 to 12:30. First time doing a thing in Toronto, so it's early, you know, the fact. But it's amazing because I got no sleep. So as soon as that shit's done, I'm going to my mom's crib, visiting my little brother and my mom, and going to bed, bro. I'm tired.
Big AP on college, Pink Door, Pornography.
Yes, sir. Big AP, Pink Door, college. Pull up. 10:30 to late. I'm gonna be there 10:30 to 12. So.
You DJing tutus?
Yes, sir. Actually, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Actually.
Not tomorrow.
No. Maybe. We'll see. One of them.
And going back to fashion a little bit, what are some things you want to see more from people? Like, maybe we'll stick to like, what are some things you want to see more from like Canadian brands right now?
Fuck. I don't want to say creativity because like, bro, everyone's creative, and there's a demographic for everything. So like, for me to say that would be subjective, obviously, to like my own opinion. But like, I would like to see people just like go a little crazier in terms of like high fashion sort of things, because like there are a lot of people out here doing crazy shit. Like I gotta shout out my homie SP. Like he honestly like is definitely like one of the forefronts in the city for like leading this high fashion shit for real.
Yeah, shout out Spencer for real.
The fuck out.
ASAP Rocky, big ASAP Rocky co-sign on that new video.
Years. But for real though, like honestly, like I love the culture and like everything that pertains around Toronto, but I feel like there is like a small demographic of like certain styles that are missing, whereas like we're more caught up in like leisurely sort of like drip, I guess, and then like just like big name shit, which is like cool, but like, you know, I don't know. Support your local artists. That's all I gotta say.
Support local, wear local.
Yes.
It's a main goal.
Make your own shit. And
Make your own shit.
Repair your own shit. Don't throw it out, and like, don't be wasteful.
I feel like right now in fashion, a lot of people are forgetting like you have to spend money to make money, and like a lot of the times,
100%.
a lot of brands will spend like $100 on like some t-shirts and then be like, yo, why am I not getting shown love, you know what I mean?
No, facts.
And then like there's people that are dropping thousands to work with a manufacturer, sampling
100%.
like for months, or getting, you know what I mean? Like,
but I feel like that's also something that like I do kind of want to touch on, because it's like a lot of times it isn't even necessarily about the monetary value. Like if you have a crazy idea, like you could like Pierre Besset, for instance, like everyone knows his fucking logo, bro. That shit is a fingerprint, dog. Like he could have put that shit on a Gildan t-shirt, and because the idea is there, because the foundation, because the whole premise of like what, like you for like, bro, the whole concept is there, it's gonna sell no matter what. So it's like,
facts.
I would definitely urge you before spending money to like try and really fortify your ideas and make sure that like everything you're actually talking about and discussing and trying to promote with your brand has like a clear idea and a clear consciousness.
fashion game, definitely a marathon, not a sprint. I feel like a lot of people forget about that.
Everyone forgets about that. And I feel like it's also because of the internet, bro. Like we're living in an age where it's like, it's hard to kind of just like be yourself and be comfortable with it. And so like you kind of see how other people are moving, and you feel obligated to move like that. So it really is how it is. But honestly, like even myself, like bro, I had to go to therapy just to help myself like get over some shit, because like for the longest time, like me starting a business was just like really hard to like contextualize in my brain, because it's like I'm a perfectionist I mean I'm not as much of a perfectionist as I used to be, but like I definitely used to like it took me years before I finally got around to doing it. Like I just released my brand like last year, but I've been sewing at the same level for the past like 5 or 6 years. So I would say like just focus on your ideas and make sure that like everything's coming through. Because even with myself, bro, like I started this shit with peanuts, you know, like I have shit to my name. So at the end of the day, it's like it's not even necessarily monetary, but ideas 100%.
And you shoot all your lookbooks, and I'm pretty sure you work out of Orphy Studios, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about that. What's
Amazing.
Orphy?
Oh my god, yo, those are my brothers, bro, out in Montreal, dog. Like if I wasn't out there doing all that shit, I would have been back here in a basement sewing on my machines and stuff. But we actually got really blessed. I just want to shout out my homie Katiba. He was the one who actually set it up. Katiba and Jonathan Shamar, you already know. But they set that shit up for me and my gang and a bunch of people, bro. It's all love. It's a big family. We really just have like it's pretty sizable, but there's like a set fucking music studio. So it's like it's really nice because like everyone in the studio does like separate things. So we all have like our own avenues, and then we all kind of just like lean on each other when we need certain things done. So like if styling or repairs to clothing needs to be done, like I'm on the sewing machine, or if like someone needs to get some shit shot, like we got our boys Raph and Alexi over there. So it's a really good community, and honestly I urge everyone to like try and get something like that going on too, because like you are as much like you are your friends and shit, and like I realized that growing up a lot, especially coming from like not the best neighborhoods in life. So I realized that over the years and shit, the more I kind of focused on like building a community around me, the more things got better. And honestly, everything got better as soon as I moved to Montreal and got that shit popping with the community. So
Montreal's super like feels small and like really tight knit, and everyone shows so much love all the time.
Amazing.
You know what I mean?
It's honestly, it's the same thing as Toronto though too. But I feel like in Toronto it's just so separate that it's like, even to try and link, bro. For me to try and link with you, it's like my mom lives out in the East End. You could be living out in Etobicoke. Like, bro, it's just so hard sometimes. Whereas like I feel like in a smaller community, you're living very much within the same neighborhood, so it's easier to kind of like connect, go to the same parties, be at the same motives, and like just show support all around. And then even just the standard of life is so much cheaper, bro.
Everyone's always on Saint Laurent, bro. You walk down Saint Laurent, you're guaranteed to see a home.
Literally, bro. You're
always
guaranteed to see every single person who's ever been in apartment 200 ever, bro. I swear to God. Shouts out apartment 200. We love you.
Shouts out apartment. What are your you going to Rolling Loud Toronto this year?
I'm gonna try. Shouts out my boy Ayo. I'm trying to get some tickets from him. Ayo, if you're but for real, I'm actually trying to go because like it's on some really crazy shit. Like I feel like I remember, oh my God, this one year I went to fucking Veld just to see Travis Scott perform, bro, and he never.
Time ago.
Dog, he didn't even fucking show up, bro. So I was like heated. It was sick. I was off some fun activities and doing some things. So it was wild. I kind of forgot about it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, yo, Canada and Toronto, I guess, has never really had some shit like this where it's like super like hip hop centric. It's like mainly just focused on like the culture, the hip hop culture, I guess we have here. So it's cool to see that. It sucks that like I fucking left and then now this shit's going on now. But like, you know, I'm gonna be back for it. So.
Huge shout out Skyfall. Can't wait to see Skyfall Rolling Loud 2022.
I'm about to be mixing all of his songs tonight, bro. He be going crazy. He's a top artist in Montreal right now. One of the top.
Yeah, he's next up. 100% out of Canada. Calling it right now.
Hell yeah. Honestly, next couple of years, I feel like he's gonna be like big. I don't even want to compare no names because like, bro, everyone's individual. But
this man has like 6 tracks on Apple Music, and I'd be on repeat for
every single
months,
one of them, bro. Every single one of them is a fucking
every single one,
bro.
This man does not hasn't missed.
This nigga just does not miss, bro.
You going to Mural Fest, Montreal?
Yeah. Actually, one of my friends is like gonna be doing some DJing and shit. So I actually
Miles?
wanted to see. Is he? I didn't even know. He could be. I think my homie Halil is actually doing some shit. Shouts out Halil. But I wanted to actually try and see if I could get on some shit, but we'll see what happens. You know, I just started DJing, so Mural Fest is a pretty big fucking thing. So
yeah, it's like 2 weeks long. Montreal like goes crazy for that one. I can tell you that.
I've honestly never been to it, so I'm actually really excited to try and like see what it's saying because it seems like a really fun, cool thing. And like I used to do graffiti like a lot, so it seems like it seems like it's very much down my alley. I'm surprised I've honestly never went before, but
huge artists this year. I've never seen like at these big of artists at Mural, like Skepta, Lancey, Liotti. Like it's gonna be crazy.
I heard that it was mainly it was like St. Woods who helped plug all that shit. So shouts out St. Woods and your creative direction because y'all really speaking to the culture, bro. Y'all know. I saw Evangelion, bro. I was like, what the fuck, bro? They got Evangelion coming to the fucking
Mural.
Surf Gang. Shouts out. Crazy.
Shouts out Surf Gang for real. And, all right. Thank you for the interview. We're about to chill at this pop-up for the rest of the day. Hit the AP after. Start 67 on the 1s and 2s.
Big love.
All right. Bet.